皆さん、英語のソータです。
Hi, it's Reilly.
Happy New Year! Yes, it's still 2022.
Well, yeah.
But, I just want to say Happy New Year to everyone. Do you have any plans for this year, 2023?
Yeah, I guess I have like some goals, kind of the same as last year, just reading, dieting, going to the gym, studying Japanese, the general ones.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, we can, release the episode of gym.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah, because we recorded that episode in April, but we couldn't release it. So at some point we will. So you can, again, of course, talk about gym in this episode, but everybody will hear you talking about gym
later
with passion later.
Yeah.
はい、皆さん明けましておめでとうございます。パチパチパチパチ。実はまだ2022年、12月27日僕の復帰エピソードをね収録した日ではあるんですけれども、もう気分は切り替えて今2023年でございます。で、ライリーのやりたいことは、リーディング、スリーピング何でしたっけ Reading,
Diet.
Dieting, ダイエットとあと going to the gym.
Yeah, in Japanese.
In Japanese?
And Japanese, studying
studying
Japanese.
Japanese. なるほど。で、あらかじめ言っておきたいんですけど、4月頃にライリーとジムについてお話ししたエピソードがあるんですよ。2022年の4月に、去年のね。でもそれをちょっと僕のこのね、お休みの都合でアップロードできてなかったので、どこかでアップロードさせていただきます。ですが急にあれなんか2022年のお話ししてるなみたいな時あるかもしれないんですけど、ちょっとその点だけ、ご注意ください。なので今年も皆さんにとってとても素敵な1年になりますようにという思いを込めて、今回のエピソードもお届けしたいなと思いますので、 So are you ready, Raiちゃん?
Yep.
ソータと
ライリの
台本なし英会話レッスン。
This is episode 212.
Alright, what is the topic for episode 212, Reilly?
Moving past regrets.
はい、今回のお題は後悔のない人生を生きるにはです。また皆さんからいただいたお題でお話しさせていただくエピソードももちろん今後あるんですけれども、ちょっとしばらくお休みの間に僕がこれ話したいなと思っていたことなどをアウトプットできたらなと思ってます。で、今回ね、新年ということで皆さん新しいまたやる気だったり夢だったり希望だったりいろいろな感情をお持ちなのではないかなと思います。で、新年の抱負とかっていうとね、もうこの5、6年の台本なし英会話レッスンの歴史の中でもう聞いたよみたいなねエピソードになっちゃうかなと思ったので、ちょっと新たに視点を変えてみて、後悔っていうところからお話をして、その後悔をしないためにどう僕たちは生きていけるのかっていう視点から皆さんのモチベーションを上げさせていただけたらなと思います。So, New Year, 2023 has just started.
Okay, for the listeners.
Right? Yeah. And then I think, it's really common that we talk about New Year's resolutions or our goals. So I wanted to do something different. Then we can focus on our regrets we have.
Sure.
And then, not to regret, how can we live? We can think like that. And then we can motivate and encourage everybody, I thought.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, let me jump right into the topic. Do you have any regrets?
I think right now I don't have very many regrets, but I definitely used to have some.
Okay.
One of the big ones was when I was in college, there was a big paper, like a thesis, that I chose to write. It wasn't required to graduate, but I chose to write it because I thought it would be good for going to graduate school. But I didn't finish it. So for a long time, maybe 2 years after that, I regretted not finishing it because I felt like I didn't, it was a big project and I wasn't able to complete it. I gave up. Yeah.
Oh, what happened? Like you just simply gave up?
Yeah, so it was a 2-semester, basically a 1-year project. The first semester was like research, and then the second semester was supposed to be actually writing and finishing it. And I did the first semester. I did a lot of research. I probably read, I don't know, like 1,000 pages of, books and papers and things like that. But the topic I chose was like really difficult for me. So it was, first of all, the paper was in Spanish, and the source that I was talking about was a poem from like 1,000 years ago. So the Spanish in the poem was not regular Spanish. It was like old Spanish, like reading something, I don't know, like the Tale of Genji or something like that in Japanese, right? So it was just so difficult for me that after the first semester, I told my professor that I had to quit. I couldn't do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I also, read lots of poems.
Yeah.
In English, like Hardy. Do you know Hardy?
Hardy? No. Thomas Hardy?
Oh, yeah, Thomas Hardy.
I've heard of it. I don't know his poems, though.
So I really understand, how hard it is. The, not Asian, though, old ones.
Sure.
But you could graduate.
Yeah, I could graduate. So it wasn't required for graduation, but it was like if you were going to go to graduate school, it was recommended that you did this thesis, but I didn't finish, and I didn't go to graduate school.
Yeah, so about, university life or, school stuff, I also have one regret related to that.
Yeah.
I think now, looking back, I should have made more friends. At that time, I had a different way of thinking, and then I didn't want that many friends at that time. So I wanted to do my English study, or, I started this 英語のそーた activity, when I was in university.
Okay.
So, I didn't need lots of friends at the time.
Right.
But now after graduation and now, looking back, I think I should have. Because I don't have, lots of friends in my local town, and also, from university, I have some, but not many.
Right.
But yeah, that's also one of the regrets I have now. っていうのをちょっと訳していきたいなと思うんですけれども、まず、paper っていうのはね、ただの紙じゃなくて、論文っていうね、意味もありますね。それをちょっと打っておいてもらいましょうかね。あとはgraduation thesis って言ったりもしますよね。thesis。これも卒業論文ですね。卒論って大変ですよね。僕も経験したことあるので、まず、ライリーが今というか昔後悔していたことは、卒論を仕上げなかったことですね。で、スペイン語で書かれたポエムですよね。
Yeah.
っていうのをこういっぱい読んで、linguistic だからだよね。
That one was for Spanish, actually. That was a double major, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
なるほど。それはただ単純にスペイン語の卒論っていうことやったんですね。で、いっぱい読んで、こう仕上げないといけなくて、リサーチして、で、書くっていうね、あれ両方あるんですよね、卒論ってね。それが、やろうと思ったけれども、やっぱもうめちゃくちゃ読まないといけないし、昔のスペイン語とかなので、すごいしんどくなっちゃって、やめちゃったと。やめたいときってね、can you introduce some phrases like when we want to give up? I don't want to share, these negative phrases, but can you share some? I want to quit.
I want to quit. Yeah, I want to give up. I don't know. Sometimes you can just say like, I'm done.
Oh, I'm done.
I'm done. I'm finished. That's it. I don't know.
って感じね。
Something like that.
そうですね。皆さんすいません。新年早々からこんなネガティブなね、諦めますみたいな、やめますみたいなフレーズを紹介して申し訳ないんですけれども、生きてたらね、なんかやめなあかん時もありますから、I'll quit。全部それもね、打っておいてもらいますけど、I'll quit, I'll give up, I'm done。もう終わりだっていうね。こういうふうに 皆さん新年の抱負は諦めてくださいって言ったらちょっと怒られると思うんで、何か諦めないといけないことが今後出てきた時にこのフレーズはね使っていただけたらなと思うんですけど、そんな感じでもう書くの大変やと思って諦めたと。Oh, and also you said I couldn't complete it.Complete っていう単語はね、何かを完成させるとか完了させるっていうような意味もありますから、動詞として何々ができなかった、あるいは終わらせたときは I completed it 終わらせましたっていうふうにね言ったりもできるかなと思います。っていうのがライちゃんの後悔と。で、僕もその学生時代の後悔といえば、今振り返ってみれば、すみません、ちょっとマスクがね、2人ともマスクしてるからね、苦しいんですけど、学生時代の後悔といえば、I should have って言ってましたけど、I should は現在形ですよね、何々すべきっていう。ここに I should have をつけることで何々すべきだったという後ろ過去分詞形になりますね。ライちゃんがまた I should have 打ってくれると思いますけれども、僕は I should have made more friends もう少し学生時代の時に友達をね作っておけばよかったなって今振り返ってみれば思いますね。で、looking back っていう風に文の頭に looking back コンマっていう感じでつけると、今振り返ってみるとっていうような形で表せます。なので looking back コンマ I should have made more friends って僕は思います。なぜかというと昔はねやっぱ価値観がねみんな違いますから、別にそんな友達欲しいって思うタイプじゃなくて、何でも結構一人で授業を受けて一人で目標のためにやるっていう感じの学生だったので、本当に友達別に欲しいと思わなかったんですよね、あの時は。でも大人になって振り返ってみると、数名はいますけど、そんなにずっと仲良しの高校時代の友達がたくさんいるとかってわけじゃなかったり、地元にも友達がたくさんいるってわけじゃないので、今振り返ってみるともっと友達を作っときゃよかったなって僕は思ってますけど。 Do you have many friends from university?
No, not many. I have a few like very close friends, like my roommates, the people that I lived with for like 3 years are still very close friends, and I keep contact with them. And there are other people that like I follow on Instagram or something like that, but we don't really talk very often.
Yeah, so if we have a few or some close friends, that's enough though. そう、でも僕はもっとちょっとね作っとけばよかったかなっていうのはすごいあるかなと思うんですけど、これが number one regret ですね。
Sure. Yeah, I guess so.
How about number two?
Well, number two, I think it's not really a regret I have now, but it's more like a regret I'm worried about having in the future. So this one's kind of deep, but I live in Japan and my family doesn't. So I worry that in the future I might regret staying in Japan for so long and not being back in America with my family. If my parents are getting older and if, God forbid something were to happen to them, that could be a big regret that if something happened to my mom or dad, and then I would feel bad for not being near them for so long. So
Then what do you want to do?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's the tough thing is I want to stay here, and I think I see them, well, except for Corona times, I was seeing them about once a year, which was okay, so I think I want to still stay in Japan, but I'm worried about that. If something bad were to happen, then I would regret being here, I think.
Especially it's that because you couldn't meet up with them because of the pandemic situations.
Yeah, that made me think about it more, right? Because, during the pandemic, I couldn't see them for like 2 years. And then if I had been in America during the pandemic, I probably still wouldn't have seen them so much, but more.
I think everyone should have some regrets or a lot of regrets related to, this pandemic situation. Oh, I could have done this or I should have done that. But, we couldn't. So
Right.
in your case as well, you couldn't see your dad and mom. So perhaps you might be, regretting in the future at some point.
Sure, yeah.
But still you want to stay here in Japan.
Yeah.
Then what's your final decision?
Well, I think I'll stay here.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, I will for a while.
Yeah, because if you leave Japan and then if you leave me, you will be regretting.
Yeah, then I'll have other regrets, of course.
っていう風にしておこうかと思いますけれども、ライちゃんが言ってたのが feel bad って言ってましたね。feel bad for 誰々って言ってましたかね。なんかこう申し訳ないと思うっていう時は I feel bad。あるいは I feel sorry でもいいんですかね。for 誰々っていう形で、誰々にすごい申し訳なさを感じると。なので、ライちゃんの2つ目の後悔は、今じゃないんですけれども、いつか後悔するだろうなと思うことは、日本に長く居すぎていることと、お父さんお母さんにやっぱ会えなかったりとか、あるいは会えてなかったりとか、今後彼らに何かあった時に、絶対後悔するだろうなっていうね。でやっぱりそれはコロナで会えてなかったっていう影響も大きいのって聞いたらやっぱそれも大きかったよねと。でそこから僕も思うのがみんなそれぞれね去年2022年はねこうコロナでできなかったことやりたいけどできないもっとこうできたできたと思うことっていっぱいあると思うんですよね。で僕もそうだと思いますね。なのでそれも確かに僕のリグレットナンバー2としては何でしょうね。I could have done something more, but I couldn't because of the pandemic. For example, as I explained in the previous episode, I got maybe mentally sick because of the, insecure society or the situation, pandemic situation. And also, I love traveling,
Right.
but I couldn't.
Sure.
So I think we lost lots of things or lots of chances
Yeah.
in the past 3
Yeah,
years.
absolutely.
Absolutely. いい言葉ですね。皆さんも absolutely ライリーが打ってくれると思いますけど、本当それとかっていう時にね、absolutely 間の t は消しますけれどもね、absolutely。
Absolutely, yeah.
そうだからこそ今年のこの2023年の新しいエピソードにつなげていけるかなと思うんですけど、誰しもねこう後悔があるからこそ次こうしようああしようっていうモチベーションにつながっていくと思うんですよね。で特にもう全世界がこの苦しんだコロナという、この不利な状況、これからどう僕たちは今年うまくそこと付き合いながら今までしてきた後悔をしないように生きていくのかっていうのが僕の今年の課題でもあるなって思うんですよね。なので前回のエピソードでお伝えした通り僕もやっぱり4月頃からこう SNS を更新できなかったのはやっぱりねそこでも説明したので聞いてほしいんですけど、もうこのコロナの不安定な世の中で何を載せたらいいのか何をどうしたらいいのか分かんなくなっていろんなことを考えすぎてしんどくなっちゃったっていうのもあると思うんですけど、それもやっぱ僕の後悔ですね。もっと SNS 更新できたんじゃないか。もっと、we could have made lots of episodes. そういうやっぱ後悔っていうのはあると思うんですよね。でもそれは考えてもしゃあないんで、今年ね、2023年どうするかっていうところで、こう切り替えていくことが大事なんじゃないかなと。でかつ今これを話してることで皆さんをモチベーションね、上げさせていただけてるんじゃないかなと思うので、So, what I was saying was that, we always try to move on because of our regrets.
Right.
So I think everybody in the world struggled and had had lots of regrets because of the pandemic situations.
Yeah.
So we could have done that. I should have done that. So in your case, you couldn't see your dad and mom.
Right.
Anything else? Do you have any regrets related to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think traveling too, like, yeah, not just because of Corona, but in general, I've been in Japan for 6 years and I haven't been to any other countries in Asia yet. So it's like, if I were to leave Japan and go back to America, it would be a lot harder to go to Vietnam or something like that. While from Japan, it's pretty close. So, yeah, I think I regret not having as many opportunities to go to Asian countries like Vietnam, Thailand, Korea, etc. So yeah, that's something I hope to do in the future. I think that's part of the regrets is like looking at it and then thinking about how to not change it exactly because you can't change something in the past, but how to do it differently in the future. You know, so like with my mom and dad, I'd like to make sure from now on that every year I can go and see them or they can come and see me here. And I'd also like to do some more traveling while I'm in Japan and while I have the chance.
Yeah, you already mentioned about those things, but if, you answer my question, like with those regrets we had in the pandemic situations, what do you want to do and how do you want to live from now on, especially this year?
Yeah, I think the pandemic has kind of shed a light on some of the privileges we had before, where it was like, we didn't really think very much about seeing our family or seeing our friends or traveling or something like that. But now those things are more precious to me. Like nowadays it's not so bad, but in the first maybe year of the pandemic, every time I would see my friends, I felt like a little guilty, like maybe I was doing something wrong. And sometimes we would not meet each other because it was, there were lots of cases in the area or something, so we had to stay home. And those kind of things have made me think a lot about how important it is to, see other people, go out, leave the house, Yeah.
A lot of, uncertainties at that time, so
Sure.
we were not really sure what was right.
Right.
Yeah, so that's why from now on, especially you want to meet up with your friends and you want to travel.
Yeah.
And you want to, get things back.
Yeah.
Lots of things you did in the past,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I think, the last 3 years I've spent a lot of time in the house. And I think in the future, if I have the opportunity to do something, I should do it and not, sometimes in the past, before the pandemic, if there was something that maybe I kind of wanted to do, but it was like a little bit annoying, but I'd rather just stay home and read or watch TV or something. But I think in the future, I'd like to take those opportunities because maybe at some point you won't be able to do them.
We shouldn't, put it off.
Right.
Okay. 確かにね、本当にこのお話が多分皆さんのいろんな刺激に今なってるんじゃないかなと思うんですけれども、まずは make sure って言ってましたね。
Yeah.
I have to make sure, I'll see my dad and mom, you said so?
Yeah.
っていう make sure to 動詞っていう形でも OK ですし make sure 後ろに文章っていう形で必ず何々するっていう意味ですね。Oh, can you say the sentence again? I have to make sure.
What was it? I have to make sure I see my parents every year. Something like that.
これからも毎年ね、親と必ず会うようにしなきゃっていうね。あるいは人に対して make sure to close the door 必ずそのドア閉めてね before you pee おしっこする前にとかね。
Right.
笑ってよ。
Sorry.
That's
Sorry,
a joke. 笑ってや。
Sorry, I was writing stuff down.
打つので必死やったよね。せっかくなんかボケたのに何も反応ないな思って、そんな感じで、おしっこする前は扉閉めてやとかね、いつ使うか分からへんけれども、そんな感じで make sure to なんとかで動詞をね置けますね。そうなので。僕はね思うのが誰しも後悔ってねあると思うんですけどその後悔があるがゆえに今後どうやっていくかって考えれると思うんですよね。でみんなパンデミックで苦しんだと思うんですよ。で今まではそのパンデミックの中でもう状況が良くなってきたよねと思ってもまた悪くなって状況良くなってきたからもうこうしようと思っても周りの目とかやっぱ状況的にできないこれをしていいのか分かんないみたいなね。特に僕もそれを人一番考えちゃってたので身動き取れなかったんですけどもう今だいぶいろんな状況が良くなってきていろんなことをできるようにもなってきたと思うんですよね。なのでライリーも言ってたのも privilege っていう単語もね、打ってもらおうかなと思うんですけどこう特権権利 こう普通に今までこれできてたよねっていうようなそういうものが失われた3年間でしたよね。例えば家族と会う、友達と会う、何をしてもこれ友達と会ってていいのかな、こんな状況の中でやっぱ会っちゃダメなのかなとかいろんなことを考えましたけれども、やっぱり本来僕たちが持ってるべきその特権というか当たり前の権利っていうものをちょっとずつやっぱ取り返していきたいよねっていうお話を今ライリーはしてくれてましたね。で、昔だったら、これやろうと思っても、まあいっか、家でおろうとかね、何々しようっていう、put it off って言ってましたけれども、それも打ってもらいましょうかね。We shouldn't、put off.
Yeah.
こう、何かを延期する、後回しにする。We shouldn't procrastinate, right?
Right.
procrastinate という単語もありますけど、何かを後回しにする。やっぱりそういうのをせずに生きていこうって思えるようになったっていう。これはもう僕もそうだし、ライリーもそうだし、皆さんもそうなんじゃないですかね。いろんなものをね、いろんなチャンスを失ってきましたから、この3年間で。僕もすごい悔しかったなと思うんで、今年はね、それを絶対こう失わないように進みたいなって思いますね。Anything else like you want to try this year?
Um,
Oh, if nothing, can I ask you a question?
Sure, yeah. Go ahead.
Do you have?
I don't think so. Not in particular. but-
Because you already explained.
Yeah.
How about something, good you did in the past? So not regrets. Something, oh, this is something I did and that was really good.